In this fireTEK instructional video, we will be going through basic addressing within Finale3D. You can find the Finale3D software at Finale3D.com. Alright, we have a very simple show already put together in Finale3D based on generic effects, and it consists of 5 positions across the front, and 1 position in the back for shooting larger shells. Okay, and we can go through the show here. We start off with some slices up front with some breaks, followed by some meteors, and then we've got some colorful zipper cakes. We have mines across the front, and then we've got some large colorful shells launching in the back, and then all this is followed by some golden horsetail cakes, followed by horsetail shells up above, and then a few more mines and 3 salutes. All of these were basic effects in Finale3D. And you can see we have 62 events shown here and also at the bottom of our script window. Okay, addressing is the assignment of each effect to a specific pin on our firing system. For fireTEK, we have a module, a rail or a slat, and then the pin or channel on the slat. The format here in Finale3D is module-rail. So you'll see 01-1. That's module 1. That's the ID that we assign to the module. And then -1 is the rail. So that can be -1, 2, 3, or 4. And then within the rail, there are the 16 pins. For example, we could have an ID of 21 set on our module. That would be module 21. And -3 would be the 3rd rail on that module. And then pin 14 would be where we would assign that effect for that module. And sometimes pin is referred to as channel within the fireTEK system. Okay, in Finale3D, in the script window, we've got columns for the different attributes. So we have position for our various firing positions. You see we also have a column for rail and a column for pin. Now I'm going to change the view to simplify the script window, and I'm going to remove this pan and tilt column so that we have position, rail, and pin all next to each other for this demo. So we can just go in here and select which attributes we want to show. So now we have position, rail, and pin all next to each other. All right, now we're going to address the script across our 5 positions that we have. To do this in the main window, we're going to go to addressing and then address show. And this window pops up. Now the first thing in this window is we want to make sure that we've got the right firing system and the right module and slat type set. So that's fireTEK, and for the FTQ modules, we're going to use the module 64 pin option. And next, and this should be default, the maximum matches per pin is 1. And we're going to begin the module numbers with 01-1. So that's module 1, rail 1. Say, for example, you wanted to start your modules with module 10. So you could then change that to module 10-1, and that would be the first module ID that it would assign would be 10. In this case, we're going to stay at default. The first module ID is going to be module 1. For step 2, order of assignment, and step 3, constraints, we're just going to leave that blank for right now to show what could happen if you don't use these other features of the addressing software. Okay, so if we hit enter and let it do its thing, we're going to find out that it can address the whole show on 1 module. Because remember, there was only 62 events, so we got 64 cues per module. Now you can imagine 1 module for all 6 positions is going to be a horrendous wiring nightmare, and certainly not ideal. And if we look at our script, we can see that we've got our 1 module and various rails assigned to all kinds of different positions. We can sort on this column here and just look for 1 rail here. We've got this rail going to multiple different positions, so that's going to be a lot of scab wire. Again, not an ideal situation, but that's okay because we can fix this and make it better. In an ideal situation, let's say that we have 6 modules and we want to use 1 module at each firing position. Let's go and clear the addressing, which will erase all the assignments, and then let's go back to our address show, and with a couple simple changes, we can clean up the addressing. Now first, step 2, order of assignment. We're going to assign the modules by position. So this is essentially an alphanumerical position. So P01 will go first and P02 will go second. And in constraints, we're going to say each module is restricted to a single section. We'll talk about sections later. And then position. So we're going to make sure that each module is assigned to a single position. And we're going to hit enter. And we'll let it do its addressing. And now we see that we are using 6 modules, right? And we can check how that's assigned in the script. So if we sort by position here, we can see that each position has 1 module. This is module 1, and then we got module 2 for position 2. Right, we see module 3 is position 3, and each one of these happens to be 1 rail. Now if we go down to position 6 where all of our shells were, again we can see this is all on module 6, but yet we are across multiple rails, right? So we got rail 1, rail 2, right, but it's all on 1 position. So we have 1 module assigned to every firing position. Okay, what if we don't have 6 modules? Let's say we need to script this show with 4 modules. Well, if we go back to our address show window, there are a number of other constraints that we can use. We're not going to go through all of them, but notice that the first line says each module is restricted to a single section and, in our case, position, because that's what we selected. But what is section? In Finale3D, you're allowed to group your different firing positions into different sections. And you can do this a number of ways. You can click on each position and go to its properties and identify its section name. But I think the easiest way to do this is to open the positions window, and under the column section, go ahead and just type in the different sections that you want to label everything. In our case, we'll take position 1 and label it as left, as well as position 2. Position 3 we'll call center. Position 4 we can call right, and position 5 we'll call right. That gives us 3 specific sections across the front and 1 section for shells in the back. So now our firing positions are split up into 4 groups or sections. Now if we go back to addressing and address show, and we look at step 3 constraints, it says each module is restricted to a single section. And right now we also have position, but let's remove that. That way the modules are only restricted to the sections. Let's go ahead now and look at the next one. It says each slat is restricted to a single position. In this case, now that we have 2 positions sharing a single module, we can now constrain each slat to a single position. And that although a module is shared between those 2 positions, the slats will not be shared between those positions. All right, so let's go ahead and hit enter and let it do its thing. Okay, we can see here that it was able to successfully address the show across only 4 modules. And if we check this out in our script window and we sort by position, for example, our center section, which was position 3, just has 1 module, but our right section, which was both position 4 and 5, shares module 3. But the rails are split between the 2 positions. And again, that's because of the settings that we chose in the address show window, where we let it restrict each module to a single section and restrict each slat to a single position. That wraps up this fireTEK instructional video on basic addressing with Finale3D. We hope you found it informative and helpful for your shows. Keep a lookout for a second video going through some more advanced addressing capabilities of Finale3D for your fireTEK firing system.